Good morning, my dear friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Wow Garden 2025 series. Today we are in a suburban rural garden. Yes, it may be that this suburban garden is both a rural garden and maybe even a bit modern, but you'll find out all about that by watching the whole episode, which I warmly encourage you to do because Marta is already waiting and will soon tell us about her garden. And I have a question for you right away. After you watch the whole episode, write down how many square meters this garden has. Of course, before we see the whole garden, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and write in the comments whether you like this garden, because a few words from you are always a great thing for the garden owners. It's a real motivation and an extra bonus for all the work put into the garden. Hi, welcome Marta, welcome.
Very warmly.
It's great that we could visit you in your garden. Tell me, do you identify with my name, Suburban Country Garden?
That's a really nice name, and honestly, it definitely fits this garden because
I'm actually outside the city. Yes, it's in a modern style, but not in a classic modern style. It has some elements, but above all, it's a country garden.
Yes, because my idea was that I wanted to have a country garden, but not in a typical old-fashioned grandma style. There's a bit of modernity here, you know, like grasses or some small elements and accessories, but the country character really suits me here because it used to be a village here, so now it's just a city. So we combined country and city, and the name is just perfect.
That's very good. When I entered the garden, I immediately associated a country garden with having a vegetable area.
Yes, although here, let me tell you, a year ago it was completely different because this greenhouse wasn't here, there was a vegetable patch here, and the idea for the greenhouse was in a different place. But when we started building it, I thought, gosh, it should be nice, pretty, glazed, and let it fit in nicely with everything here. And yet we decided that when someone comes in, usually you have flowers, you have everything in front of the house.
That's almost it.
Exactly. Here's the entrance. And here we have a few flowers, a little vegetable garden, but to be honest, it suits me. I really like it.
You'll tell us about that in a moment, about how this place is created and who creates it, whether you do it yourselves. But we're going to another place now. Listen, the basket for collecting vegetables is already here, but you told me it was handmade?
Yes, it's total recycling, reuse. It already needs repainting because it's been outside, but yes, there was leftover wire mesh from the chicken coop and some boards, possibly from old cabinets, if I remember right. Here I took something from Dad's workshop, so it's total recycling, but it's really nice and perfect for vegetables or bringing in some flowers.
No, it's great. But when it comes to recycling, basically everything here is homemade.
Everything is homemade. Yes, the greenhouse. The greenhouse is my nice, cherished gem. The greenhouse had to be here because before there was a plastic tunnel, but visually, something completely different fits here for me now. I dreamed of a nice, small greenhouse. Anything bigger would look out of place, just a small house.
A small plot?
So it just can't be a big greenhouse. However, I wanted it to be not just a greenhouse for vegetables, but also to have some decorative function. So exactly.
This ochre, reddish color.
Ochre? That's a chicken coop reference.
Because about the chicken coop, that's still yet to come.
We'll talk about it. It's a reference to the chicken coop. Everything was meant to come together smoothly. Initially, I thought it would be white, but then realized it would look beautiful here in winter. Yes, here, when you close the door, the wreath. It's like I already have some ideas for winter here, so I hope it will be snowy.
Well, it's different here in the area, but
maybe it will work out.
Most importantly, the greenhouse is working, as the tomatoes are already at least 3 meters tall.
From the ceiling?
Exactly. So
they grew this year?
Fantastic, because you can always pick your own tomatoes, but you have other vegetables too. They pop up everywhere.
Exactly. I grow onions and tomatoes among my dahlias since space is limited, so I squeeze in as much as possible and it thrives. And
see, on a relatively small space, and if you want to know how big, just ask, you can really create a garden with many different zones. because there's a relaxation zone, a vegetable zone, a cut flower zone, and even a chicken coop. There's even a little bit of lawn, and I asked, why have such a small patch of lawn? It's needed, but why?
Crocuses.
Well, and for crocuses, you simply need a lawn. Let's move on. Your chickens greeted us.
Definitely.
Listen, we came to the area with the chicken coop where it all started, right?
Yes. The chicken coop was our first building like that on the new plot, our new extension. Actually, the house wasn't even there yet. The house was still being built, but the chicken coop was already there. Since we'd had chickens for over 10 years and even half a year without them was a huge change. It was difficult to adjust to store-bought eggs and changing the coop. And since the chicken coop had to look nice because it's close to the house, right outside the living room, it just had to be cool, pretty and well maintained. I wanted a chicken coop with a roof like an American barn, but unfortunately my husband didn't share my idea. He said no, he wouldn't build it, but okay, that's what we ended up making. So since the chicken coop is already like that, then the color, this red, I always like those chicken coops, those American barns. It had to be here, white and red.
And the Kentucky Fried Chicken sign, right? And
the sign was just an accident at work. During a boring rainy Sunday, he saw it somewhere on TikTok. Let's do it, come on, but this is
something very distinctive. And speaking of that distinctive thing, you can see more shots of this garden on your Instagram. Yes? What's the name of the profile?
Check out the Anna Kashtanove profile at .kashtanove.
Of course, I'll put a link to the profile on Instagram in the description of this video. And now we're moving on. Let's let the hens calm down a bit.
They probably just lay their eggs. Well then...
Great. Marta, it's worth noting that your plot of land isn't such a simple one.
No, it's not a simple plot. I think a simpler one would probably be easier to arrange.
Yes, but that's also often a plus, because you can use different elements. Yes, because...
I'll be honest, I built a rock garden on a natural slope, so it looks natural. Something here evens it out for me. So here too, with some perennial flower beds, I softened it a bit.
It intertwines. Maybe it's not a big height, but still...
4.
I think it's meters.
But I think it's fine, yeah.
And it's not a big plot, so we have to work around it somehow, right? Those rock gardens look nice, but what really impressed me here is this beautiful fruit tree, the little apple tree. How old is it?
I'll be honest with you, I'm already a bit older, so this apple tree is easily about 50 years old. My grandfather planted it back when there was just one big garden here. And a rooster. And there was nothing else. And this is actually the last old tree, which...
remained?
Yes, here in this garden, and it really has a lifetime here. We trim it, sometimes it breaks a little, you know, but the apples are so delicious that it really...
But its roots also help hold these slopes, right?
Yes, I think for sure, although it's also a habitat for voles. But
you just have to deal with it somehow.
We're managing it somehow.
Voles are natural in the garden, so it's not like they're enemy number one, of course.
They'll nibble, but they took my grass.
Of course. Obviously, but you also need some space. No.
It's not bad.
A place for them. You know what? We'll go in a moment. Right to the front of the house, because I've noticed that it's kind of a trend now that those porches in front of the house are really super cool, a strong feature in many gardens. We'll also check how it looks at your place. Sure. Marta, what's your main idea for this garden? Do you have an idea for it to be just a perennial garden, for example? Or do you want to add different elements that usually appear in a garden?
You know what? I'm mainly focusing on perennials, so it should be easy to maintain. Those kinds of flower beds, but I also like annual flowers, and I definitely need to have a place for them. I also like a place, you know, like greens for the winter, right? So it's evergreen. So there are boxwoods. There are also some around here. Some conifers and shrubs are around.
Do you have them here?
Hibiscuses, they're here.
Hibiscuses, but the hibiscuses haven't bloomed yet.
Not yet. They only have buds so far.
They need proper care to bloom well, right?
Yes. Every spring, I won't say that I love it, but every spring you have to prune them, and I cut them back quite a lot because then they thicken up nicely. So they'll bloom. I'm pretty hardworking, but...
Well, that's how it is, but listen, I have a good solution for that because I brought you a little gift from our partner. Oh, I'll go get it, and we'll see if it works with these hibiscuses. Oh, here it is, I brought it. Listen, this is equipment. A device that for many people, especially women, is simply a game changer because you don't need to use force to cut even thicker branches. From NAC, you have an electric pruner. I heard that you wanted to have one.
I'll be honest with you, you really nailed it because it was on my shopping list. And, well...
Here it is, listen. Awesome. Look, see. Ready to use. Check if it works well.
Great.
For hibiscuses, roses, and many others, don't prune now. Let them bloom. But I think it's great.
No, I won't prune.
I think it will work great. And if it does, you'll tell us about it when we come next time. Great. And promise not to cut everything. Leave something to prune.
There will be plenty to prune, either at my place or Mom's.
Oh, it's worth mentioning that Mom has a garden next door, so it's always useful.
Of course.
As befits a suburban rural garden, there has to be a porch. I immediately associate rural buildings with a porch. Your porch, to be honest, is really awesome, to put it in youth slang. A lot of pots. Now tell me, what do you have in these pots and why do you have these particular plants? Is it a coincidence or what does it seem like?
You know what? Yes. Flower pots. I always expected there would be flower pots here. It's a bit too colorful and I wish it looked more uniform, but I won't redo it. Since this is our first season with the apartment and finished porch though.
It was just built, which is worth mentioning. You've lived here since this year.
In January, at the end of January somehow. And that's when we moved in, kind of like that. And
the garden is 2 years old.
And the garden is 2 years old, although not quite a full 2 years because it was also done in stages, a little bit at the top and a little bit here. Basically, this whole bottom part was done at the very end because there was still earthwork going on here, so we didn't start it. But the garden here, I mean the porch, I definitely knew it would be colorful. There would definitely be a lot of flowers, although this is a southern exposure and they just suffer in this heat. And next year probably I'll change them a little bit here so they don't suffer so much. There will definitely be some mosquito plants or other annuals like that, but more durable ones. I also like herbs, you know, they smell great too. There can be herbs, they don't have to be flowers. And
in the end, you have a mini greenhouse.
Yes, a mini greenhouse built from scraps. And basically, not only will it be a mini greenhouse now, but in the spring you can plant something in it, you know, as a decoration. For seedlings, not decoration. But for winter, I'm already thinking in winter stages that here there will be, you know, a Christmas decoration. I'll put my nutcracker grandpa here and it will be like that.
Decoration. Your porch, since you don't have space for a classic terrace, is also like a little terrace, like a little covered terrace.
There's also a rug to make it nice and so it doesn't burn from the heat. And we also hung some curtains to help reduce the heat a little bit. And a little bench. But I'll tell you about the bench later, or maybe I'll tell you now what it's made of, because I think you'll know what it's made of.
So the bench, we're going to talk about the bench. All right, okay. I didn't hear a bit because a plane is flying by, but...
Even two.
Tell us about the bench and I'll definitely find out everything. Okay. Marta, we've been walking around, and I thought there are a lot of these vegetables, so maybe you could use another seedling tray. That's why, from our partner, from the company Jagram, I brought you a gift. A really solid seedling tray. Yeah.
And it's quite big.
Big, really big. Do you know where to put it? My husband was already yelling that he knows.
Yes, he already has a million ideas, but I think we have a place. We definitely need to rearrange the upper garden a bit because everything there is still kind of provisional. There will definitely be a place for him.
Well, I can't wait to see if the color is there when we come.
There can only be two. We'll see how.
Whether it will be all white or if it will have some red added. It's worth noting that all these Jagram elements look great, especially when you paint them as well. So I'm already looking forward to that late summer episode, and we'll see what shows up. It will be... Today is an episode about the garden. We're in the upper part of the garden. As you said, there's still a bit of work to do here. But by the way, I'd like to ask you, where did your passion for gardening come from in the first place?
You know, I think I grew into it. Because honestly, about 15 years ago, it wasn't really my thing yet. And right here, where we are, this upper garden is still a remnant of what used to be. My mom planted the roses, and these boxwoods here were also planted by my mom.
You mentioned kiwi, right?
Kiwi is also, yeah, because it's the border of our plot. Because here is the border of our plot, and here there's also kiwi planted by her, and hydrangea, and basically this hibiscus too, it was planted by her. I wasn't particularly interested in it for well over 10 years. Here where the house is, where the chicken coop is, there used to be a different chicken coop, a tunnel, and a vegetable garden. And that's when we started growing vegetables. But honestly, flowers didn't really attract me yet. And really, when we started building, that's when my block kind of opened up. And I thought, okay, now I'll do it the way I've always liked, just like a grandma's garden. So a country style, but not completely country, with some modern grasses mixed in. And basically, from that time on...
Only recently? And such successes.
Already, flowers only recently, vegetables for well over 10 years now. And
with vegetables, you can see you have the touch and you know how to do it because the tomatoes are really huge. But since flowers are new, that's also...
flowers are new, so there are still many mistakes, but you learn from them. I also like Zosia Samosia, and I like to do things my own way too, although I'm still learning. So
are you only planning annual sowings?
No, I've got it covered. Honestly, I'm already managing the annual sowings. For the past 3 years or so.
So now listen, speaking of those sowings, annuals, because on one side of the house there's a bed like the one you want to change and you're expanding it. There are many colors and annual plants there, right? Yes.
It's a bed that was made this early spring, and it was basically a spontaneous decision, so I wanted it to be annuals. Then I thought maybe perennials, but now when I look at the colors and everything, I think I'll keep it annual and let it be wild, just wild. Let's
check out this wild bed. Yes. Can we call it an experimental bed?
I think it's definitely an experimental bed because even I don't really know yet what will be here. And I keep changing my mind all the time, so yes, definitely.
I see that you have larkspurs here, snapdragons, some veronicas, cosmos, everything is here, even some cabbages.
Yes, I hope my cabbages grow well this year. Last year I had some good ones, but I'm not sure I can handle the struggle. With the cabbage moth? Yes, exactly. But for now it's just an experiment. I never know what spring will bring since things always change for me.
It's worth watching Marta until the very end because that's where I wanted to get. At the very end, there's Mega Hortensia. How old could she be?
Well, at least 20 because my mom puts her in. You know, I count it by when she was around and how long we've been married. Oh, I see. That's how I count things, wedding, kids and all that. But I think it's well over 20 years. And it's really huge here. And every year I trim it. And it just grows back even more. No?
And this year, well, listen, in width, I think it's well over 22 meters in diameter. Easily. That's one bush, right?
Yes, that's one bush.
And more, it's even about 3 meters in diameter. Unfortunately, it likely gets hit after the rains.
I bet that in the coming days it will just be lying there.
But that's also its charm. You can't keep everything looking nice. It's natural, like in the countryside.
Countryside, yes.
It has to be. Through your garden afterwards. But in every garden I ask if there's even a chance to relax in such a garden because you do have a place to rest. We do. So does that mean there's a chance to relax like that?
Now there is. At this point, now that we've built everything and things are more or less under control, because let's be honest, there's always something to do in the garden. Yes, we do have time and we relax. At least an hour a day. But we do relax.
Well, yes, but that's how it is in the garden. That there's always a lot of work, especially if you have a vegetable garden, because with vegetables it's non-stop work. But you've made yourself such a great place because you did it all yourselves.
Yes, we made this ourselves because there wasn't enough space, so it had to be custom made here.
But more? Do you do it or your husband? Admit it.
We do it together. Obviously, you know, I can't lift a lot, but we built the greenhouse ourselves, we built it on our own, and I carried things too. It's on Instagram, but yes, we do it. Everyone does their own task, right? So he cuts, trims, and assembles things. I hold things for him. I do the tougher job, which is painting. Why?
Worse? I like painting. You know what? I
like it too, but only if I don't have to keep my hand up.
I understand. Okay, all right. I saw that you also have different kinds of lighting here. Yes, I saw some candles somewhere as well.
I like them.
But I have something else for you that will be useful. Oh, a lamp from Nordvorsky Lighting that works really well. It matched the color scheme outside.
It matched really well, I have to say. Both the shape and the color are just perfect.
So I hope you'll have more time for yourselves, at least in the evenings. And the lamp will light up your time spent here in this place. And whether it worked out, we'll find out in the next episode. And for today, thank you very, very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me too.